Hey guys, this is Viper with another video review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Dead Space 2 Isaac Clarke figure. Now, I actually have not played Dead Space 2 yet, even though I do own it, but my friend has told me that this is apparently the advanced suit that you get later on in the game, and it's definitely different. I did not expect this type of a suit, honestly. I figured that all of Isaac's suits pretty much looked the same. But then in the first game, I only used the Obsidian suit that I mentioned in the last review. That was pretty much the only suit that I used. I never actually progressed up through the line and saw the different changes that occur to Isaac's basic suit. I have to say, I definitely like this suit. It's really interesting. It's, like I said, it's not something that I expected, and I was pleasantly surprised when I saw it. The color apps on the figure, and once again they did a good job of weathering. This figure's a lot more bloodied than the other Isaac figure I have, and even the plasma cutter is a much better representation from what I've seen in the game. Definitely a hell of a lot better than that cheap plastic one that you got with the collector's edition. I'm very glad I went with the limited edition on this one. But this suit to me almost looks like it's actually more of a combat suit in a way. I mean, it's designed where it looks like it almost has armor on it, like with the shins here and the thighs. It almost looks like he's kind of armored in a way, ready for battle. More so than just a, good old engineer who's stuck in a predicament where he's got to kick some ass. For a bit of a comparison, here is the original suit, which I believe is Isaac's basic suit in the game. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I played Dead Space 1. But definitely a big difference. This looks, like I said, this is more of a bulky suit. This definitely looks like it's kind of a futuristic, maintenance worker uniform, kind of like that. It's not, it almost looks like it's overalls with this, bit of armor ribbing on it. Whereas this really looks like, it's more skin tight, it's more form-fitting, and it really does look like it's an armored suit, which I think is really cool, and it kind of makes a lot of sense that, after going through this once with the Necromorphs, you think Isaac would be smart enough to come up with, a little bit more protection for himself. But here's a look at the card backing. Pretty much just your standard. Got the title, a picture of the figure, little bio here, which says, Isaac Clarke, the next generation. Now, 3 years ago, CEC engineer Isaac Clarke barely survived a virulent outbreak aboard the USG Ishimura that twisted the dead into mindless killing machines. Now it's happening again, this time on the metropolis orbiting Saturn known as the Sprawl. Isaac fights to survive as his mind deteriorates and the space station descends into madness and chaos. Boy, pretty grim outlook. Why is it people like playing these games again? I don't know. Articulation-wise, his head goes back and forth. It's not on a ball joint. It doesn't go from side to side or up and down, but just back and forth. The arms go out about this far. Bend at the elbow. Rotate at the elbow. Rotate at the shoulder. The wrists rotate. And that's the same for both sides. The waist is on a really tight joint, but it moves a little bit. The legs swing out about that, whoa, pretty far. Swivels at the thigh, bends at the knee about that far. There's no ankle joint, but he stands pretty firm, even without having any kind of, articulation for that point. One thing that's actually interesting about this suit is that all of the little armor bits on it actually are like a rubber. So I guess that's good since a lot of little pieces, kind of jut out. This way it won't break if you hit it on something or whatever. It'll just kind of fold. I mean, it honestly is a pretty good touch, and it's good for long term. But anyway, back to the figure. Get a little bit of a close-up here. And like I said before, I really like the detail on this figure. The paint apps are really superb, especially since there's so many different colors. I mean, on the first figure, it pretty much was just, brown, orange, a little bit of silver, some yellow, and whatever else. But this one, you have like an off-white color. You have this very kind of pale metallic blue for the helmet and for these little bits here on the arms and on the chest. You have this kind of grayish black for I guess the lower layer of the suit, and it just really looks really cool. And the boots, since obviously in Dead Space 2, in order to get items, you need to stomp on your enemies. The boots are very heavily bloodied, which makes a lot of sense. There's a lot more, like I said, a lot more battle damage detail, a lot more blood, that's for sure. But it makes a lot of sense. It's not a game like Cubert or something, And of course, just like with the other figure, press the button on the back, and we have a mask that lights up, and the health bar on the back lights up. Very cool. This is more of a darker blue color, whereas the other figure had more of a light blue, but really looks cool. Now, even the plasma cutter, I have to say, one thing's for sure, this plasma cutter actually fits in his hand very snugly. Oops. Whereas the other figure, the plasma cutter barely fit in his hand. It pretty much kept falling out. But even the detail on this plasma cutter is very well done. It's a really good representation of the cutter in the game. My friend actually has the collector's edition, which I have to say, the plasma cutter you got with that had to be, without a doubt, the biggest ripoff I've ever seen. But they even went so far this time to actually have the cutter rotate, which I thought was a really nice touch, as that's what it does in the game. So I have to say, overall, I am very pleased with this figure. I really like the way he turned out. And I know there aren't very many suits, or I should say they haven't released very many suits yet. I think besides the other Isaac that I reviewed, they have a bloodier Isaac with a Ripper. And then I think there was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the Unitology suit. I don't know if I'm going to do any, back collecting, since honestly the Unitology suit's just a repaint of the regular suit. But I'm definitely looking forward to some more Isaac figures that they may make in the line. I'm also looking forward to playing Dead Space 2. I think that'll be an interesting game to say the least. But that's about it, and I hope you enjoy the review. See you next time.